Hey, Rick, I was thinking, if crime is so illegal and stuff, why do criminals even need money? Like, can't they just, I don't know, steal everything they want?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Morty. Oh my. That's beautiful. That's like asking why fish need water when they're already wet. Look at you, stumbling ass backwards into the entire point. Okay, sit down, shut up, and let Grandpa Rick explain why every legitimate business you've ever walked past is probably a front for something that would make your little pubescent brain leak out your ears. See, Morty, making dirty money is the easiest thing in the universe. Selling drugs? Easy. Extortion? Child's play. Human trafficking, arms dealing, running an intergalactic Ponzi scheme with sentient crystals. I've done it on a Tuesday. The hard part, Morty, the part that separates the amateurs from the professionals, is spending that money without some government bureaucrat with a community college degree in accounting asking you uncomfortable questions about where you got it. You could just walk into a Ferrari dealership with a duffel bag of cash that smells like cocaine and dead dreams, Morty. Well, you can, but then you're an idiot and you're going to federal prison where they don't even have good Wi-Fi. Crime doesn't need banks, Morty. But clean money? Clean money needs the entire financial system to look the other way while humming the national anthem.
But Rick, can't they just, like, hide the money, put it under their mattress or whatever?
Under their... Morty, what are you, a squirrel? What's the point of having $17 million if you're eating ramen in a studio apartment? Because you can't explain to the IRS why you suddenly bought a yacht? Money isn't real until you can spend it, Morty. It's just fancy paper with dead presidents on it. The whole game is turning I murdered someone for this money into M, a respected member of the community money, and that's where the beautiful, soul-crushing machinery of money laundering comes in. Here's how it works, and pay attention because this is literally happening right now while we're having this conversation. You take your dirty money, let's say you made it selling, I don't know, weaponized hamster DNA to war criminals, whatever, and you need to make it look like you earned it doing something boring, legal. So you open a business, a car wash, a laundromat, a restaurant, a consulting firm, doesn't matter. The business doesn't even have to be good, Morty. It just has to exist on paper. Now here's the genius part that makes me simultaneously impressed and suicidal about humanity. You fake the revenue. You say you washed 300 cars today when you actually washed 12. You claim you sold 800 artisanal cupcakes, when really you sold like 9 and 3 of them were to the same depressed lady. You mix your dirty money with your fake revenue, you pay taxes on it like a good little citizen, and boom, it's clean. It's not crime money anymore, Morty. It's business revenue. Once it has an invoice, it's not crime, it's accounting.
Wait, so you're saying people just lie about how much money they made? And that works?
Oh, Morty, you sweet summer child. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And it works because nobody actually checks. You know why? Because checking is expensive and boring, and the people whose job it is to check are underpaid. Government employees who'd rather be literally anywhere else. You file your paperwork, you pay your taxes, and the system assumes you're telling the truth, because the alternative is admitting the entire economy runs on a foundation of lies and vibes. But let's level up here, because we're just getting started. See, the really sophisticated operations don't even use businesses that serve customers. They use service companies, consulting firms, marketing agencies, software development. Why? Because services are intangible, Morty. How do you prove someone didn't provide consulting worth $2 million? You can't. There's no product. It's just meetings and PowerPoints and invoices that say strategic advisory services, which could mean anything from legitimate business advice to absolutely goddamn nothing. I once watched a dimension where a drug cartel hired themselves as consultants through 17 shell companies and billed each other for market analysis until the money was so clean it got elected to Congress. True story. Well, true in Dimension C 137B, but the principle holds.
Rick, this sounds complicated. Don't banks notice when, like, a car wash suddenly has millions of dollars going through it?
Oh, they notice, Morty. Of course they notice. The banking system isn't stupid. Well, parts of it are monumentally stupid, but the compliance departments, they see everything. They've got algorithms, artificial intelligence, analysts whose entire job is detecting suspicious patterns. They know, Morty. They absolutely know. And here's the punchline that should make you lose faith in everything. They don't stop it. They file their little reports, they check their little boxes, they maybe flag it for investigation, and then nothing. Because shutting down the money flow means shutting down business, and shutting down business means losing profits, and losing profits means shareholders get angry, and angry shareholders mean someone loses their job. So instead of preventing money laundering, banks just price it in. They get caught, they pay a fine, usually a fraction of what they made facilitating the laundering in the first place, and everyone moves on. It's brilliant, Morty. If the fine for robbing a bank is smaller than what you stole, you didn't get punished. You got a business expense. HSBC laundered billions for drug cartels, got caught, paid some fines, and exactly 0 executives went to jail. Not one, Morty. They literally process money for people who dissolved other people in acid barrels, and the punishment was a strongly worded letter and a check.
That's messed up, Rick.
Oh, we're just getting to the messed up part, Morty. We're just getting started on the messed up part. Because once your money is clean enough to pass the first level of scrutiny, you don't just sit on it, you invest it. And this is where money laundering transforms from crime into what society calls being smart with your money. You buy real estate, because real estate is perfect for this, Morty. It's expensive, it appreciates, and the market is so opaque that nobody questions why someone paid $3 million for a condo they never live in. You're not laundering money, you're diversifying your portfolio. You buy art. You go to auction houses and pay $17 million for a painting of a soup can or whatever pretentious garbage rich people pretend to understand. Is the painting actually worth $17 million? Who cares? Art is worth whatever someone says it's worth. You're not laundering money, you're a collector with refined taste. You hang it in your mansion next to your other laundered paintings and invite other money launderers over for wine and cheese, and everyone congratulates each other on their sophisticated investment strategies.
Wait, so that whole art world thing is just...
Money laundering? Not all of it, Morty, but enough of it that if you remove the dirty money, the entire high-end art market would collapse like a neutron star. Burp, same with luxury real estate, same with certain cryptocurrencies. Same with rare cars, wine collections, private equity funds, offshore investment vehicles, family offices. It's all the same game, Morty. It's just wearing a nicer suit. And here's where it gets really philosophical in a way that makes me want to drink myself into a dimension where ethics are still a thing at a certain point. The money isn't dirty anymore. Not legally, not socially, not practically. You've cycled it through enough legitimate investments that trying to trace it back to the original crime is impossible. The guy who made it selling fentanyl to teenagers is now a real estate developer or a venture capitalist or a philanthropist who donates to children's hospitals. His kids go to private schools, senators' kids. He gets invited to charity galas. His money is so clean it squeaks. Some sketchy startup with no actual business model gets funded by a venture capital firm that gets its money from a private equity fund that gets its money from a family office that gets its money from... Who knows? Nobody knows. That's the point. By the time it's gone through enough layers, it's not crime money, it's just money. And in capitalism, Morty, all money is the same color. Green with a side of moral ambiguity.
This is really depressing, Rick.
Oh, we're not done being depressed, Morty. We haven't even talked about why nobody goes to jail for this. See, when the government does crack down on money laundering, which is rare, but it happens, they don't go after the system. They go after individuals. Usually small-time operators, occasionally a mid-level guy who got sloppy, almost never the people at the top who actually make the system work. Because prosecuting individuals is easy, Morty. It's good PR. You get to hold a press conference, talk about how you're tough on crime, show some mugshots, and everyone feels like justice was served. But prosecuting the system, admitting that major banks, law firms, accounting firms, real estate companies, and half the Fortune 500 are complicit in moving dirty money, that's scary, Morty. That's threatening the entire economic order. That's admitting the emperor has no clothes and the clothes he doesn't have are made from laundered drug money. So instead, you get selective enforcement. You get plea deals. You get deferred prosecution agreements where companies promise real hard to be good from now on. You get fines that sound big to regular people but represent like 2 weeks of profit. Nobody important goes to jail because money laundering isn't a bug in the system, Morty. It's a feature. The global economy needs places to park questionable money. It needs mechanisms to convert crime into capital. Because if you actually shut down every business and bank that touched dirty money, the entire financial system would implode. We're talking full economic collapse, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So you're saying it's never gonna change?
Oh, Morty, you're finally catching on. It's not going to change because it's not supposed to change. This is how the machine works. You have laws against money laundering for the same reason you have safety warnings on chainsaws. It's there to protect the institution from liability, not to actually stop the behavior. The laws exist so that when something goes really wrong, when someone gets too greedy or too sloppy or too public, they can point at the rule book and say, well, we have rules against this while continuing to profit from it. And the beautiful soul-crushing irony, Morty, the people who are best at money laundering are the ones you'd never suspect. They're not cartoon villains in ski masks. They're accountants with mortgages, lawyers with kids in braces, bank executives who coach Little League. They wake up, have breakfast with their families, commute to offices with motivational posters about integrity, and spend 8 hours making murder money look like consulting fees. Then they go home, kiss their spouses, help with homework, and sleep soundly because in their minds they're not criminals, they're just doing their jobs.
That's really dark, Rick.
Welcome to reality, Morty. It's dark because it's real. Every time you walk past a luxury car dealership, a high-end art gallery, a commercial real estate office, there's a non-zero chance you're looking at a money laundering operation. And the kicker? There's no way to tell the difference between a legitimate business and a criminal front because they operate exactly the same way. They file the same paperwork, they pay the same taxes, they follow the same regulations. The only difference is intent, and intent is invisible. You can audit someone's soul, Morty. You can only audit their books, and if their books look clean, they are clean. That's the game. That's the whole goddamn game. And before you ask your next stupid question about why doesn't somebody do something, people are doing something, Morty. They're making money, lots of it. The lawyers are billing hours. The accountants are collecting fees. The banks are taking their cut. The regulators are building their resumes before they jump to the private sector to make real money. Everyone's doing something, Morty. Just not the thing you think they should be doing. So yeah, Morty, next time you see some business success story, some rags to riches entrepreneur, some innovative startup that went from nothing to billions, maybe it's legitimate. Maybe they really did pull themselves up by their bootstraps through hard work and innovation. Or maybe, just maybe, they're really good at turning crime into spreadsheets. And the terrifying part? You'll never know the difference. Because that's not a bug, Morty. That's the whole point. Now hand me that flask and try to forget everything I just told you, because living with this knowledge is like living with a splinter in your brain that won't stop reminding you that everything is terrible.